After 75 incredible years, the Man of Steel is set to do battle with the Dark Knight for the first time ever on the big screen in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. It's been a long road for our beloved Superman, and fans have waited years and multiple incarnations to see him finally face off against his equally iconic frenemy. It makes you wonder how we got here after all this time. Think you know the whole story? Think again. I'm It's Just Some Random Guy with Cinematica, and we're here to give you the inside scoop on the TV and film evolution of America's favorite flying superhero, all the way up to 2013's broody reboot. So get ready, because Cinematica is counting down the 107 facts you should know about Superman. Let's get started. Number 1. Superman was born from two high school kids' imaginations as a bad guy. The original concept for the Man of Steel, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster in 1933 while they were still teens, was a bald, telepathic villain bent on world domination. Sounds like a combo of Superman and his arch-nemesis Lex Luthor, no? Number 2. Siegel and Shuster developed the character into a more marketable hero, although their first attempt at selling Superman as a comic was rejected. It eventually sold for $130, yes, $130, to Detective Comics, an early incarnation of DC Comics, and was published in Action Comics #1 in 1938. Number 3. Clark Kent, Superman's secret identity, was named after Hollywood movie stars Clark Gable and Kent Taylor. Number 4. Superman was inspired by heroes throughout history and mythology, including Hercules, Moses, Samson, and more modern heroes Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon. Number 5. The comic became a radio show in 1940 and was voiced by Bud Collyer. It was on this very show that kryptonite was first invented and introduced. Number 6. The radio show was also the first time we heard the iconic Superman call. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman! Number 7. Just as Superman's true identity remained a secret, the identity of radio actor Collyer was kept a secret until 1946, when he did a Time magazine interview about a Superman ad campaign stressing religious and racial tolerance. Number 8. Superman couldn't always fly. At first he just had super strength, the ability to leap far distances, and bulletproof skin. Number 9. Over the years, his powers evolved. His ability to fly was first introduced in the radio series and original cartoons, and he didn't officially fly in the comics until 1941. Number 10. What's with those red undies anyway? When designing the suit, the creators drew inspiration from colorful space characters in pulp magazines, as well as strongmen of the era who actually wore those types of undies unironically. Number 11. The eternal question, why can't people tell that Clark Kent is just Superman without his glasses on, was explained in the early comics. Turns out, Kent completely transforms his posture and voice using his super muscle control. Number 12. Originally, the S on his chest just stood for Superman, but it was eventually changed to represent his family crest in the 1978 film. Then it evolved further, becoming an ancient Kryptonian symbol for hope, which was adopted for the latest Superman film, Man of Steel. Number 13. Did you know Superman battled Nazis? The cover of Superman number 17 shows him standing on the Earth holding both Hitler and the Japanese Emperor by the scruff of their necks and giving them a good shake. Number 14. Superman also helped bring down the KKK. Human rights activist Stetson Kennedy went undercover to learn all about the group's secrets and operations, then turned to the makers of the radio show in hopes they'd adapt all he'd learned into a serial where Superman took on and exposed the Klan. Producers were up to the task and created a 16-part storyline aptly titled Clan of the Fiery Cross. Number 15. Listening to Superman was an event. At the peak of its popularity, it aired 5 days a week in over 85 markets. One series had 33 episodes. Number 16. Batman vs. Superman has been part of both superheroes' legacies since the beginning. Batman appeared on episodes of the Superman radio show way back in the day. Number 17. The Daily Planet and iconic characters Jimmy Olsen and Perry White were all born from the radio series. Number 18. In total, 2,088 original episodes of The Adventures of Superman aired on American radio. Number 19. The first full-length feature film was 1951's Superman and the Mole Men, and marked the first time we saw George Reeves as Superman. Number 20. Seeing the future of TV, producer Robert Maxwell brought it to the small screen in 1952 with Reeves returning as Superman. The first season was discontinued mid-season until Kellogg's Cereal Titan came in to sponsor the show, as it did with the radio show. Number 21. The first 2 seasons of the show were in black black and white. Reeves' red, blue, and yellow Superman costume was originally brown, gray, and white so that it would photograph in appropriate gray tones on black and white film. Number 22. They eventually began shooting episodes in color, a rarity for TV at the time. It was our first glimpse at Superman in the now iconic red and blue. Number 23. Reeves appeared as Superman on an episode of I Love Lucy, which aired on January 14, 1957, an iconic moment in early television history. Number 24. The flying effects, while simple and obviously way outdated today, were quite advanced for the time, though one time Reeves almost got a concussion when the wires snapped and he fell to the studio floor during the episode Ghost Wolf. It promptly changed how they shot those sequences from then onward. Number 25. The series was canceled in 1958, 1 year before Reeves' untimely and mysterious death by gunshot. Was it suicide, an accident, or murder? It remains an enduring Hollywood mystery to this day, and was even turned into a 2005 film, Hollywoodland, with future Batman Ben Affleck playing Reeves. Number 26. Unwilling to recast, and in an attempt to appeal to the younger audience, producer Whitney Ellsworth put together a TV pilot that put the Superman mythos into a fictional universe populated by dogs. Low budget and just bad, the adventures of Super Pup went nowhere. Shocking, I know. Number 27. In 1961, there was a failed TV pilot called Superboy. Let's just say the 1960s wasn't exactly Superman's best decade for TV and film. Number 28. While Superman remained relatively obsolete on screen during the 60s, he thrived in the comics. In 1974, after a long, difficult process with DC Comics, producer Ilya Salkind secured the rights for a Superman film. Actors first considered for the role included Muhammad Ali, Al Pacino, Clint Eastwood, and Dustin Hoffman. Number 29. Superman's first draft was written by Godfather author Mario Puzo, whose first draft was reminiscent of the campy 60s Batman TV show and included a cameo appearance by 70s TV detective Kojak. Number 30. Superman could have been a Spielberg film. He was considered by the producers, but they wanted to see how his little fish movie did. Well, Jaws became a classic, but then he was too busy making Close Encounters by the time they offered Superman to him. George Lucas was also considered, and guess what? He was too busy making Star Wars to commit. You snooze, you lose. Number 31. Richard Donner was eventually chosen to direct following the success of his 1976 horror classic The Omen. He would later go on to direct The Goonies and Lethal Weapon series. Number 32. Producers really wanted Paul Newman in the movie. He was offered the roles of Superman, Jor-El, and Lex Luthor. He turned them all down. Number 33. Everybody wanted to be Superman. Over 200 actors auditioned, Sly Stallone was interested, Arnold wanted it bad, and even Caitlyn Jenner auditioned back when she was going by Bruce. Number 34. Eventually, Christopher Reeve, then an unknown, was cast. A Juilliard-trained actor, Reeve brought a humanity to both Superman and Kent that won audiences over. For many fans, he remains the only real Superman. Number 35. At first deemed too skinny to play the Man of Steel, Reeve gained 25 pounds of muscle with the help of a straight exercise regime led by David Prowse, otherwise known as Darth Vader in Star Wars. Number 36. To portray Superman's father, producers wanted an actor with gravitas, so they went with the Godfather himself, Marlon Brando, who demanded a then unheard of $3.7 million paycheck for 12 days' work. He also got 11.75% of the profits, making his take-home around $19 million. Number 37. The notoriously difficult actor was true to form on the Superman set. He refused to memorize his lines and horrified producers when he suggested that Jor-El appear as a green suitcase or a green bagel with just his voice. Number 38. Oscar winner Gene Hackman was brought on as Lex Luthor, Superman's chief arch-nemesis in all film and TV incarnations of the superhero's story. Number 39. New York City stood in for Metropolis, and the Daily News building and offices stood in for the Daily Planet. Number 40. Superman 1 and Superman 2 were shot simultaneously. Because of the problems that arose shooting in several locations around the US and Europe for two different films, Superman 2 was put on hold so the team could focus on finishing the first film. Donner had already completed 75% of the sequel, but producers said if Superman was a box office bomb, they wouldn't finish Superman 2. Number 41. The producers replaced Donner as director before Superman 2 was finished, a controversial decision that some cast and crew did not agree with, including Lois Lane herself. Some say this is why Lois has so little screen time in Superman 3. Number 42. Don't worry, in 2006, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut was released, restoring much of the footage footage he shot in 1977. Number 43. Superman was well known for its large-scale visual effects, all of which were created before the digital age. For example, the Fortress of Solitude was a combination of a full-scale set and matte paintings. Young Clark Kent's long-distance football punt was executed with a wooden football loaded into an air blaster that was placed in the ground. Number 44. As the publicity machine promised, you will believe a man can fly. Yugoslav front projection specialist Zoran Perisic invented a new special effects system, the Zoptic process, that allowed matte work of a flying reeve to be placed in relation to background processes that could be focused in and out on. Number 45. The Superman costume was to be a much darker blue, but the use of blue screen made it transparent. Number 46. Many fans have noted examples of Christian symbolism throughout the first two movies. Donner, Tom Mankiewicz, and Ilya Salkind have confirmed they used Christian references to discuss the themes of Superman, and there are plenty of them, including the original trailer. Number 47. Warner Brothers spent $7 million to market and promote the film. Number 48. John Williams, creator of the iconic Jaws and Star Wars scores, was brought on to create the Superman march we all know and love. He was even nominated for an Oscar for it, one of his record 50 nominations. Number 49. Superman was released to rave reviews in December 1978 and was a massive hit, grossing $300 million worldwide and taking the spot as Warner Brothers' most successful film at the time. Number 50. The film was awarded a Special Achievement Academy Award for its visual effects and creation of the Zoptic process. Number 51. 3 sequels were eventually produced. Superman 3 represented a decline in quality even though it featured legendary comedian Richard Pryor. Superman 4 was a massive bomb and pretty much killed off the franchise. Number 52. Despite the failures of some of the sequels, Superman is widely regarded for establishing the superhero film genre as viable outside the production of low-budget Saturday matinee serials. Number 53. The film was so influential, many elements of the Superman mythos, which were once unique to just the films, were incorporated into the regular continuity of the DC Comics universe, including the crystalline-based technology of the planet Krypton and Superman's S logo originating as the L family crest. Number 54. Canon Films, who released the flop that was Superman 4, actually tried to make a 5th film using over 45 minutes of footage cut from 4. However, Reeve declined to don the red cape again. Number 55. The original producers bought the rights back and tried to turn the successful TV series Superboy, the 1980s one, into a movie with actor Gerard Christopher as the new Superman. Number 56. Once Warner Brothers got the rights back in the 90s, they decided to reboot the story, an adaptation of the immensely popular comic book Death of Superman, with Kevin Smith writing and Tim Burton directing. Number 57. According to Smith, producer John Peters wanted Superman not to fly, wear a black capeless suit, and fight a giant spider in the film's climax sequence. Number 58. When Burton became attached to the project, he decided to scrap Smith's script, creating bad blood that continues to this day. Apparently, Smith has signed autographs for fans Superman Lives comics by writing, "Fuck Tim Burton." Number 59. With a new script from Burton's writers, Nicolas Cage was cast as the Man of Steel. Funny to think about it now, but back then, Nick Cage was a bankable action star. Number 60. Pre-production got so far before it was abandoned that they even made several new Superman suits and designed creatures for the film. Warner Brothers eventually pulled the plug, but Cage still walked away with his $20 million salary. Number 61. There has been internet interest in this lost Superman movie for years, reaching its zenith when an obsessed fan actually made a documentary about the film that almost was. Number 62. Superman returned to television as a romantic comedy with Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman in 1993. It starred Dean Cain as Kent and Terry Hatcher as Lane. Number 63. Fans' negative reaction to the very moonlighting-like Season 1, which focused mostly on the romance, was addressed by having the subsequent seasons focus more on villains with superhuman powers. Number 64. Lois and Clark was cancelled after 4 seasons in 1997, but was soon followed by a new Superman series, Smallville, on the WB, which focused on Clark Kent's teen years. This reincarnation was a first for the narrative. Number 65. Clark's love interest in Smallville was Lana Lang instead of Lois Lane. All of Superman's love interests have L initials. Number 66. Smallville was born out of a pilot script called Bruce Wayne, chronicling Batman's younger years. The idea was switched to Superman and was greenlit. Funnily enough, the TV show Gotham, which follows the younger years of Bruce, Jim Gordon, Penguin, and the rest of the Batman gang, debuted on Fox in 2014 and still remains on air. Number 67. Smallville was a success that ran for 10 seasons, all while Superman was still trying to get back on the big screen. Number 68. A script for Batman vs. Superman was pitched in 2002, but it was scrapped to make individual Batman and Superman movies. Number 69. In 2002, J.J. Abrams was hired to write Superman Flyby with Charlie's Angels director McG at the helm. Number 70. McG left the project and X-Men director Bryan Singer came aboard, pitching an idea for an homage sequel called Superman Returns. His writers rewrote Abrams' script and the search for a new Superman began. Number 71. After a long search, the unknown Brandon Routh was chosen to play the Man of Steel. He actually auditioned for the role of Clark Kent in Smallville, but lost out to Tom Welling. Routh got the blessing from Christopher Reeve's widow Dana, who said the resemblance between Routh and Reeve was striking. Number 72. Amy Adams nearly had the role of Lois Lane before losing out to Kate Bosworth, but as we all know, she reclaimed the role in Man of Steel nearly a decade later. Number 73. Adams was also considered for the abandoned Superman Lives, and she even appeared in an episode of Smallville. Why, that girl was made to play Lane. Number 74. Kevin Spacey took over for Gene Hackman and was the only actor considered. He worked with Singer in The Usual Suspects and won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role. Number 75. Richard White was played by X-Men alum and Cyclops himself, James Marsden. Number 76. Superman Returns is an homage sequel to the original franchise and ignores the events of Superman 3 and 4. Although he died 2 years earlier, Brando returns as Jor-El. Unused footage of Brando as Jor-El was combined with computer-generated imagery. Number 77. Superman Returns is an on-the-waterfront reunion 52 years in the making. Ava Marie Saint plays Martha Kent, best known for her Oscar-winning role in On the Waterfront with Brando. Number 78. Superman helped save the New South Wales economy. It was shot in Australia, and in hiring thousands of local workers, the film generated over $100 million to the local economy. And 80% of filming took place at Fox Studios Australia, occupying all 9 sound stages. Number 79. Singer's composer, John Ottman, used the original John Williams score in Returns in what he called his homage score. In fact, Singer said he wouldn't have done the film had they been denied the rights to Williams' score. Number 80. The budget was over $200 million, but if you count all the development costs from the 90s, total expenditure is around $263 million. Number 81. Superman Returns was eagerly anticipated and went on to gross $391 million worldwide. However, reception was mixed. For many critics, Routh just didn't have the gravitas to carry a major Hollywood blockbuster. Number 82. A sequel was announced, but a series of events, including the writer's strike of 07-08, Singer preferring to make the Tom Cruise World War II film Valkyrie, and Warner Brothers being less than thrilled with Returns' reception, led it to be cancelled. Number 83. In 2008, Warner Brothers asked writers and directors to pitch concepts for rebooting Superman. Comic book writers Grant Morrison, Mark Waid, Jeff Johns, and Mark Miller were among those who pitched their ideas. And Miller, who teamed with director Matthew Vaughn, also planned an epic 8-hour Superman trilogy that had each installment being released a year apart, similar to The Lord of the Rings. Number 84. During the plot discussion for The Dark Knight Rises movie, David S. Goyer proposed an idea on a modern-day Superman concept to Christopher Nolan. Nolan pitched the idea to Warner Brothers and was brought on to produce a gritty, realistic Superman reboot. Number 85. Guillermo del Toro and Robert Zemeckis both declined the directing gig, and Darren Aronofsky, Tony Scott, and Ben Affleck were all considered as well. Zack Snyder, hot off the success of films like 300 and Watchmen, eventually nabbed the job. Number 86. As you can guess, the most important search was for the new Superman. Many actors were considered, including Matthew Goode, Matt Bomer, and Armie Hammer, before Henry Cavill was given the role. Number 87. Cavill was actually cast as Clark Kent/Superman back in 2004 for J.J. Abrams' penned Superman Flyby script. When Singer was brought on, he went with a new script and gave the role to Routh. Number 88. Both of this Superman's dads are Robin Hood. Kevin Costner, who played the Prince of Thieves in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, was cast as Jonathan Kent, and Hollywood's most recent Robin Hood, Russell Crowe, filled Brando's old shoes as Jor-El. Number 89. Speaking of Brando, Crowe's band, yes, he has a band called 30 Odd Foot of Grunts, have a song called I Wanna Be Like Marlon Brando. Number 90. Lex Luthor doesn't make an appearance in Man of Steel, but he is definitely alluded to, as his LexCorp logo can be seen a few times in the background of the film. Number 91. There's even a nod to Superman's great rival Batman. The Wayne Enterprises logo can be seen on the orbiting satellite in space. Number 92. Lord of the Rings star Viggo Mortensen was considered to play General Zod before Boardwalk Empire star Michael Shannon landed the role. Shannon had to undergo intense physical and stunt training and spent much of his time acting in a special CGI-ready suit. Number 93. This marks the first time Perry White has been played by a black actor, none other than Morpheus himself, Lawrence Fishburne. Number 94. Fishburne claims his performance is a tribute to his friend Ed Bradley, who was a CBS correspondent on 60 Minutes for many years. Number 95. Man of Steel is a film of firsts. Literally. It's the first Superman film without Superman in the title, it's the first to not feature iconic character Jimmy Olsen, and it's the first to not feature Superman's red undies. Number 96. The way Superman's flying was shot was basically an updated advancement to the Zoptic process from the original 1978 Superman. Number 97. There are no straight lines on Krypton. The production designer created a world where the Kryptonians had evolved their biological sciences much more than their physics or chemistry. Every single object on Krypton has no lines and is organic and unique. Number 98. There was no CGI for Russell Crowe's swimming. He was really submerged 50 to 60 feet underwater in a green screen tank. Number 99. In Man of Steel, the suit was redesigned from the classic red and blue tights to a sort of commonly used Kryptonian undergarment. It was compared to a chainmail suit that knights of medieval times would wear underneath their armor. Number 100. In lieu of the traditional sculpting molding to create the suit, the filmmakers created it on a computerized 3D application so that they could create fine detail in every nook and cranny of the new, more alien-esque suit. Number 101. The filmmakers aligned with the original Superman by making the iconic S a family crest type of symbol that can also be seen on both his parents' Krypton suits. Members of the Council can also be seen with their own version of the S symbol, based on medieval heraldry and symbols of dynasties and guilds. Number 102. The majority of Man of Steel was shot with one handheld camera. For comparison, most films of this scale are shot with dozens of cameras. Number 103. Henry got to 7% body fat, the same amount a pro bodybuilder has during a competition. Number 104. The tornado scene that kills Jonathan Kent stirred some controversy with the National Weather Service, as overpasses are not considered to be safe shelters in the event of a tornado due to the wind funneling effect increasing the likelihood of being struck by debris. Number 105. Superman's cape for the majority of the action sequences was all CGI, but he did have a real cape for some of the quieter scenes. Number 106. Man of Steel was released in June 2013, 75 years after the character first debuted. It was a box office success and made $668 million worldwide. Number 107. The success of Man of Steel launched Warner Brothers' plan for an extended universe featuring other DC Comics characters. Instead of a sequel, they decided to finally unite cinema's greatest superheroes for the first time. Like we mentioned earlier, Affleck was cast as the new Batman, though not without some complaints from fans. Wonder Woman is also joining the cast, played by Gal Gadot, and the trio are set to do battle in the highly anticipated Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Hey everybody, and thanks for watching the 107 facts about all the Superman movies. This video was hosted by It's Just Some Random Guy, so be sure to go check out his channel. We've linked to him in the description below. If you like this video, Movie Mistakes did one all about every single mistake the original 1978 Superman movie made, so be sure to go check that out. Or we also have 107 facts about the Avengers here on Cinematica. Be sure to like this video and subscribe here to Cinematica, where we post all new 107 facts videos about your favorite movies and TV shows each and every week, because we help you watch smarter.